Hello there, my name is Nico Bermea. Today I'm going to talk to you about travel. First, I'm going to start with a little quote from Pico Iyer, an American British writer, who said, "One is reminded at a level deeper than all words how making a living and making a life sometimes point in opposite directions. I want you to keep that in mind from here on out." Traveling, it opens you up to the wonders of the world. And something that I'm going to have to point out, this graph behind me, is that here is represented the amount of paid vacation time in many countries you probably wish you could visit, such as Denmark, Sweden, Italy, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, Greece, and France. Here is all those countries where their employees get paid to take some time off. Way over here in the corner is America. America can't even compare because, well, I don't see your job paying for you to just have a holiday or go spend some time along the beach, on the islands, or along the coast of Australia. But from my personal experiences, I'm gonna have to tell you that I was once able to see the entire coastline as far as the eye can see while I made my way out the rainforest jungle along the cliff tops of the Royal National Park in New South Wales, Australia. I then hiked down into the burning Palm Beach. I walked south along the beach through the sand between my toes and very cautious on avoiding the sting of a blue bottle jellyfish that has washed up ashore. Here, I also made my way as I collectively was embracing everything around me, and I noticed there were many lizards, and I began going on the pathway of these lizards. I began to guide. They were guiding me what was soon to astonish me around the corner, thought to not have been imaginable. Here were very unexpected experience that I got to exquisitely enjoy. I'd taken a dip in one of these pools, overdosing on a chill pill. Here's this lion. This naturally formed over millennia. Traveling allows you to explore these magical wonders. Something I'm going to tell you about is from Rick Steves' TED Talk experience that he has said to have lived a life out of a suitcase 4 months out of every year for the past 30 years. And through his travels, he also experienced many misconceptions and understandings while in another country. What I mean is that he realized there are many misconceptions about foreigners that we have, but they also have about us. But when we travel, we strain out these misconceptions by communicating with the people we meet on the places we go. And through the travels, ethnocentricity had been walloped, completely mind blown on how we can be so judgmental or stereotypical about some culture, yet when we experience it, it's nothing we have expected. Traveling does connect you to everyone around the globe. You know, the worldwide internet has, but we forget that we still can experience magical wonders through the people we meet. Yet we will undergo a cultural shock, which is believed to be an experience of in itself. It's like an emotional roller coaster. It starts off very new and exciting, but then dips down into frustrating differences you may have with someone abroad. Very well contradicting one another, you though begin to accept and embrace, therefore appreciating each other's differences, because it's culture that makes and defines a community. Now, embracing these cultural differences, you may even make friends along your travels, and these friends could so happen to become lifelong and people you'll never forget about. Traveling, you may also experience that people eat differently than we do, have different hobbies, and have a different, what they call their own lifestyle in these countries. among all this change, you will notice that many countries do have different government laws and policies, but regulating substances such as marijuana, alcohol, and prostitution that have been problematically solved and what, as a country, we could learn from. There are many different social norms, and something you may have more ability to relate to is that how you enjoy a meal every day. Every single day around the world, uh, you can just think of it as dividing the population up into thirds. Every day, someone's eating with their hands, fingers, others are eating with chopsticks, and here in America, as yourselves, or not trying to be stereotypical, but we usually eat with utensils. Um, this is more of a social norm, and it is very acceptable in many parts of the world to just be eating with your hands while sitting at a restaurant. You enjoy your meal and have a community little sink here at your table that you wash your hands in. But very culturally accepted to eat with your hands in many countries. You may also experience like a change in perspective that you may have. This change in perspective will kind of lead to how traveling allows you to have a much larger appreciation for something once you return home. Phil Chai from TED Talks, after 10 years of traveling, spoke that traveling allows you to know what you want, how to change yourself through resilience and belongingness, and it gives you that big sense of belongingness. Here's Manly in Australia. I felt not entirely out of place once I was here, but once I embraced what I was, I felt like I truly belonged. Something we can go on about a American like standpoint is that only about 35% of the U.S. has a passport, and out of such, only 10% travel outside the continent within a given year. And while traveling, you can, and I've said to experience to learn about these different cultures and through religions, people do things differently, and it is very acceptable where they do live. You might think it's strange, but that's the whole part. If you embrace the strange, it becomes familiar. And through these familiarities, traveling becomes fun. So what I say is rather than investing in materialistic things, you can invest in new experiences. You can travel, see the pristine shorelines in Australia. You can go to Asia, try new foods around every single corner. You can go to the UK and experience a whole different modernization of a lifestyle that is halfway around the globe. And through your experiences, you will be able to embrace and have a much larger appreciation for the things you have and the things that other people have. Something that's very essential to the human experiences are exploration, discovery, and adventure. You can experience these if you do decide to travel. On this timeline, it shows that maybe in your 20s you can take a gap year, in your 30s, a whole month trip after just saving and reducing the amount of times you go shopping 1 month or a few. You can save that money and go pay for an experience that you'll be able to have forever. And if you're in your 40s, go on to 60s and 70s, you can really decide to like maybe try something new with your life. Retirement provides that opportunity to go live abroad and find a new place to call home. But through exploration, traveling can and will put you outside your comfort zone. But it is with the exploring the world around you, you find new comfort zones, expanding your presence on the earth you walk on. Either in lengthy or short trips is not only about exploring what is there, but as you do, step outside the box you live in, consciously exploring the unknown and the unknown within yourself. Traveling allows you to discover things you would have never thought have existed. While traveling along the coast of Australia, I had met locals on a hike who invited me to go visit a temple built by hand by a man who still lives there. I had gone on discovery to the Rainbow Temple, the meeting place where people come from all paths and walks of life. Built by Guy Filderman, he spent the remainder of his life building the temple, which has become a healing place of spirit, celebration, and inspiration. Open mindedness enriches your travels as you discover what's hidden in the world around you. Adventurous steps in your long endeavors fuels your dreams, building the confidence you want or need while you tread around the world. Adventure provides a thrilling and humbling experience that will inspire you creatively and challenge yourself more and more on each adventure, therefore growing into a successful life without having to buy materialistic items, by receiving adventures that will grow and appreciate throughout your entire life. I want to conclude that we are a country of workaholics and have excuses that consist of we are too busy to travel, we don't have the money to travel. Well, if you reevaluate everything in time management, your costs and spendings, and really just pay attention on how you're living, you could go on and not only make a living, but experience life that is worth living through the elements of exploration, discovery, and adventure. You will have a very enriching human experience when you travel. And thank you for your time. Enjoy your travels.